Your favorite starter Pokemon probably won't be in Pokemon Scarlet and Violet. Let's take a look. Yeah, whoa, what is going on YouTube? It's your boy Dan, aka Drive. I'm bringing you guys a brand new video today. Today we're talking Pokemon Scarlet and Violet news, leaks, rumors, and everything in between. You guys know the dealio. Let's dive in. The Riddler has posted in response to LTV. Hey, Koo, I was just wondering if every starter Pokemon will be in Scarlet and Violet. And the inside leaker himself, Riddler Koo, says, nope. Not much of a surprise if we're being totally honest. There's obviously been a handful of instances of Pokemon over the last couple of years being cut. There's no national dex anymore, but it does seem as though we're gonna be missing a handful of starter Pokemon, so it'll be interesting to see which one of those actually make the cut into the game. I feel like we just had a lot of Gen 4 representation, so I would not expect to see those Pokemon make a return, but well, I think the biggest ones to look out for is probably the Generation 1 starters. As you know, obviously Charizard had a really big representation in Pokemon Sword and Shield, and the other two, Blastoise and Venusaur, were added as DLC down the road, but we'll have to wait and see what happens with Scarlet and Violet in relation to that. Diving into the Riddle side of things, the Riddler also talks about that the theme for next month is gonna be about gym leaders and characters, and a boy says, please start with the hottest one. These are cartoons, a boy. And the Riddler says, color first. So, color could mean a couple different things. It could mean the type, right? It could be normal type or fighting type or, whatever, because sometimes often we associate colors with the types like fire and red or orange. But it seems as though they might actually be talking about something a little bit different, which I'm going to talk about here. The Riddler then goes on to say, a compensation caused by accidental injury is decided. I'm going to release the first batch of July content in advance. So I'm going to start telling you more about the July Riddle, which is supposed to be the characters, right? Gym leaders, characters, etc. Regardless of race, color, national origin, religion, sex, and age, we all enjoy the Pokemon franchise together and forever. And I will say, I believe this was mostly in response to the Riddler using a term that was very offensive, actually. Not an appropriate tweet, if we're being completely honest here. So kind of apologizing for that. I'm not going to show the tweet, but, he made some comments that weren't exactly appropriate. So, regardless, I think this tweet was meant to be a little bit of an apology and say, hey, listen, I'm gonna give you guys some information for July. Now, I'll be real, you guys are watching this, you guys probably have your opinions about the Riddler. At the end of the day, this is our inside source right now to the leaks, so we're gonna ride it out. We're gonna see what we get here, right? We're gonna get this information. Then goes on to post this picture right here, says her voice, soul or soulless, okay? And you've got this singer here, he colors on white, long strands of hair onto this woman. So, this could be a handful of different things here, right? And this is a riddle. There's some text on there that is inappropriate. This is a riddle here. So we look to people like Soul Silver Art, right? Our leak analysts, we call them, to give us some thoughts on what this actually could mean. And I think there's a really good theory here. You know what else is really good? My awesome Team Shiny merch. You guys can go to teamshiny.com, pick up some sweet merch right now. Code SUMMER is actually getting you 30% off your order if you pick up 3 t-shirts or more. So pick up your favorite designs from teamshiny.com, available in the link in the description below. So Soul Silver and Pokemon Scarlet might have nailed this one, and they're actually pointing to the character Ursula from The Little Mermaid. So Ursula was known to sing. Ursula temporarily grants Ariel's wish to live as a human for 3 days in return for her voice. The Riddler uses this kind of image, her voice soul or soulless. That could be a hint towards Ursula. Now, Ursula, of course, would be attributed with like water types or dark types. So that's something to be mindful of. So this is one theory about what this could mean, right? I'm not saying we're gonna have an Ursula inspired gym leader. I have no idea, but I think this is actually worth mentioning. I think it's a cool potential solve for the riddle. Other ideas are related to like ghost type, potentially, being evil, dark type, things like that. Maybe normal type because he colored on the hair. I'm not sure how that's gonna play out, but nonetheless, just some theories and thoughts on this riddle. If you guys have any thoughts, as always, put them in the comments section below. What do you think this riddle means? We're likely attributing this to a gym leader or an important character in the game. So hopefully someone has some ideas. Shifting gears, Shigeru Omori and Game Freak have posted that they're actually looking for some game planners and some interns. This is interesting. LuTube also reports that Game Freak announced that they're offering a 3-month internship in August where a student will create a game in that time. The funniest part about this situation is that there are plenty of comments and memes about the fact that Game Freak is going to create a new Pokemon game in this 3-month span because they are making their game so fast, which is a joke nonetheless, but we might get Black and White 3, everybody, and it will be the same as BDSP, where they take Control V and they copy and paste the same game. So anyway, I thought that was interesting. You guys, if you're interested, I guess you could look into it. I don't know the details. I'm not gonna be a game designer. Not with Game Freak anyway, so thought that was worth mentioning. And then, of course, we've got this here. This is really cool stuff. I love this kind of stuff. Dion or Delete Zero posts, I thought I would have a go at theorizing the third legendary based on some stuff I've dug up, and I was enthralled by this, and you'll see why. The first thing I'd like to show is the shadow of a maybe butterfly that appears a few seconds the announcement trailer as a security guard shines his torch at the wall. Now this is a clip that I actually remember seeing other people break down when it was first revealed from trailer 1, and I never thought of it as a butterfly. I watched this back like a dozen times, and I can kind of see a butterfly. You know, some people think it's like some sort of a rodent bouncing up, maybe it was palmy, I don't know, but I can kind of see a butterfly. And then they go on to say that afterwards he shines his light up, searching for something above him, which a butterfly would fly above, which then he opens the door and we get our first shot at the Room of Curiosities. And right in the center of the room is a cage. We initially thought this was a bird cage, but it could have been a cage for butterflies. Now, butterflies have an interesting relationship with light, specifically their wings. The non-brown, black, yellow color you see on their wings is caused by light interacting in a special way, rather than pigments, which is how other creatures have color. Scientists have actually studied the wings of rose butterfly to create a type of solar cell which harvests lights at a higher efficiency. And I actually just read an article recently about how they were studying the wings of a moth, a specific type of moth, to provide better sound insulation for building rooms and things like that, because of how these particular moths prevent like bats and stuff from finding them through like reverberation and echolocation. Fascinating stuff, really. I'm gonna go off on a little tangent. I was always blown away when I see how many answers and solutions are just found in nature when scientists are able to discover them, right? Problems that are discovered that was given to us in nature, right? However you want to look at it. But anyway, Dion goes on to say that we can relate this butterfly legend to mythology, which we know Game Freak likes doing. This is where the sun goddess turned moon goddess of Irish Celtic mythology attained. Her story goes that she was turned into a butterfly because of jealousy of another goddess. This goes on to break out that story a little bit more, but ultimately there's some lore behind butterflies and there's some potential legitimacy there. But kind of jumping forward a little bit, Dion then goes on to say that Eclipse, someone who is claimed to be an insider, had done a lot of kind of tweeting about suns and moons at the beginning of June, which is obviously a heavy thematic kind of concept in Pokemon, but if this butterfly kind of goddess was the sun and the moon and there was a lot of imagery there's a chance that that could have something to do with this. And of course, there's been a lot of references in the trailers to the moon, which is very important to note, as Amartyesh World here posts the moon globe, the telescope in the astronomy books, the lunar calendar, the door pattern, the ancient lunar calendar. There's a lot of references here towards at least the moon, so that could be something to mention. And then this is where it's really cool, and this is what hooked me on this thread. All in all, I'm thinking there might be a dragon fairy or dragon bug third legendary with multicolored iridescent butterfly wings who can refract or diffract sunlight that's shown in it for allowing the gimmick in some way. And that kind of aligns with the fact that Eclipse is talking a lot about refraction and that being a key word or a key theme in this. And this idea of like a butterfly dragon is so dope. I don't know, man. I feel like that would be really sick. And it would make sense that you have your, for those who don't know the typings, your fighting dragon, your thunder dragon for Koraidon and Miraidon, and then you have your bug dragon, finally! A butterfly winged dragon that refracts light, does some crazy stuff. I'm sold. Dion, give me it. Let's go. So that's pretty much what's going on in the world of Pokemon Scarlet and Violet. If you enjoyed this one, hit that like button down below, and of course subscribe to the channel if you guys are new. Don't forget to check out Team Shiny to pick up some sweet merch. Code SUMMER is saving you money. Take advantage of it and deck out your closet today with your favorite designs. Thank you so much for watching this one. I hope you guys enjoyed. I will see you guys on the next one. Peace.